Hey, welcome to a new day of the course in developing our Django app. Today we're going to be doing two things. First, we'll add a navigation bar to our website, which will have multiple pages. And then the second thing we'll do is we will add an admin interface. So something like this, where the admins of the page can see what data have been submitted by users, for example. So, yeah, that's the two things we'll do today, so I'll see you in the next videos. Let's do it. Hey, welcome back. In this video, you'll learn how to create admin interfaces for your Django apps. So currently our Django app looks like this. So we get data from the users, but there's no easy way to access those data as admins. So we have to use like a third-party app like DB Browser for SQLite to view the database records that the user has submitted. So we can fix that by having an admin interface. So Django is made to actually make it easier for you to create admin interfaces. So if you look inside job application, the app folder, you'll find an admin.py file. So Django has already created a semi-empty file, which now we need to add some more code, which is very minimal code actually. So all you need to do is you need to import from .models import form. So .models means this file, models.py, and form is the class that defines our database model. So we import form, and then down here we used this module admin, which is imported up here, .site.register. The register function expects a class to register it with the admin interface, right? This class, the model class. You want to save that file, and then to access the admin interface, you should go to your URL, but add a slash and then admin and press enter. And you'll see this view where the admins can log in. Now, in my case, I have some pre-filled data here because I've built some other interfaces, other Django programs, but you probably will see like an empty set of fields, a username and password. So what's the username? Where can you get the username and the password? Well, for that, you need to create a super user, an admin account, basically. So go to your terminal, stop the program with Ctrl+C, and run python manage.py, create super user. So it's one word, no spaces. You want to execute that, and you should be asked to enter a username. So I'll just enter Ardit, my name, press enter. Then you want to specify an email address. I'll just use the email address I was using for this app 8 Django. It's not much important, just for the records. Press enter again to submit that, and then the passwords. So I'll type in my password, but note that the password is not visible, so I'm typing in, as you can hear probably, and I don't see any asterisk or the password. So the password is being typed in, but it's hidden. So once you type in the password, then you want to press enter. And then type in the same password again, just for confirmation. Press enter again. And you'll see this super user created successfully. And then we want to run the app again with python manage.py run server. Go to the admin interface, right? So that URL. And then you want to enter your username and your password. Press login. And this is what you should normally see. So this is the site administration, and you can have one or more admins to actually access this site. So we have several links here, such as groups and users. So these are about the groups of users and the actual users themselves, like the user I've just created. And then we have forms, which you can access it from here or again from home. So that's forms. So this is the most important aspect of the admin interface. So forms represents the form table where we have the user data. So these are all the submissions I have received in my app. So again, whatever the users enter here, that submission will be displayed in here, right? So let's give it a try. Let's try John Smith, John at example.com, enter a date, student, submit, form submitted successfully, and then we can go to the admin interface. You can reload this current link and then you'll see John Smith added there. So each of them now, each of these records here is clickable, which means you can click it and you will see all the data. So again, here we see the list of submissions and we only see the names in the list, but then we have all these, and as an admin you can also modify these fields. It's also possible to make a field read only. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. So for now, this is all the default view. So you can delete, you can change records and save it. And you can also add records on your own. So you have this add button here. That one or that one, they do the same thing. So add form, and you can add records on your own. So two ways to add a new job application, right? So one through the website as a visitor and one manually as an admin in this interface. So that's about how to create a default admin interface. In the next video, I'll show you some tricks on how to customize the admin interface. So we'll customize the list here and also make some fields read only. So let's see how we can do that in the next video. See you there. Hey, welcome back. We're going to continue working on the admin interface. So far, we only have this here. To customize the admin interface site, meaning that we can add some more fields here, more columns to show some more data about the users in the summary view here. And we can also add some functionality here, some features where the admins can filter the data by specific fields. So to do all that, you need to go back to the admin.py file, which is inside job application. And between the import statements and the registration of the form, you want to create a class, form admin. So I gave this name because the model is called form and it makes sense to call this form admin. This inherits from admin.model admin. So this is a class designed to create admin interfaces. So basically we are modifying the default model admin. Now this class gets some specific variables such as list display. So if you give this variable, well, you should give it exactly as you see the name here, list_display with lowercase letters. So if Django finds this variable in this class, then what Django will do is it will display all these columns of the database table, such as first_name, last_name, whatever you want to be displayed in this view here, you want to add those names in here. So these names should reflect these ones here, right? First name, last name, email, date, occupation. So these are the field names in the form model. Right, so let me go and refresh. And oh, that didn't change anything because, oh, we forgot to add the form admin to register it, right? Because we created a class, but Django doesn't know what you mean by this class. So we need to add it to the register function. So you need to add the form first. Form is the model from models.py, and then comma form admin, right? That's it. Let's refresh. This time we see this view. So now we have customized it. We want to see the first name, last name, email. So first name, last name, email. Search fields, another variable. If you define this variable, and you can then provide, like, again, a tuple like this. Let's go and refresh. So this time we have this search bar displayed here. So you can type in something here and search for those fields that we defined in here. Next, list filter. Let's try this time date and occupation. Let's go back to refresh, and we've got this filter here. So in here you can filter by the date. So if you go to John, for example, John specified a date when they are available for the new job. So with that, if you go back to forms, with that you can filter only those job candidates who are, for example, available in the last 7 days or this month or this year. So don't confuse this with the date when the entry was submitted by the user. To do that, you need to change the database. You need to add another field where you record the date of the registration of a record of a submission. So this is another thing here. And of course by occupation, so if you click on student, you will see only the students here as an admin. Right, let's go back to the code. You can also order the data by specifying a string such as, let's say, first name. And don't forget to put a comma here so that this is actually a tuple. Refresh. Oh, we have the filter turned on, so click that to remove the filter. And now we see Ardit is the first one, followed by John because it starts with an A. And you can also order in reverse. To do that, you should write a minus just before first name, so inside the quotes. And you go here, refresh, and now the order of the items has changed. So John is the first one. And lastly, if you go to one of these entries here, and you can modify all these fields as an admin, but if you want to make one field read-only, you can do that by specifying a read-only underscore fields variable. So let's say occupation, only occupation, and a comma, and go here, refresh, and now you cannot change the student. And yes, that's how you work with the admin interfaces. So these are basically all you need to know about creating admin interfaces. So I hope this is useful. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, welcome back. In this video you'll learn how to add a navigation bar to your Django website. The navigation bar is also responsive, so if I reduce the size of the window, you'll see this button shows up. So it's an hamburger button. You can click it and it will show you the rest of the menu items here. So the site is quite responsive, as you can see, and yeah. Let's see how we can build this. So this was from another PyCharm project, so let me close that. and focus in our project. So let's implement that menu in our project. So we want to focus on the templates directory, right, which is here, and in the index.html file. So I'll just close everything else, right click here, close other tabs, minimize this, and let's get to work. So we have this index.html file. I want to duplicate this. So copy it and then paste it here again. And change the name to base.html. I'll explain more why I duplicated the file. Then we want to create another file, about.html. So just leave the default code as it is. You can set a name for the title, and then in the body let's just create something like h1 tag about us. So we have an about page and an index.html page, and also this base.html. Now base.html will behave as a template. So that means you don't need these things. So delete from the body tag up to the very top. Delete those lines. And also delete the closing HTML tag and the closing body tag. So you want to keep only this here. And then you want to go to index.html, and again you want to delete everything from the body tag up to the top, and also here from the body tag up to the end. Plus you want to delete these two script tags. So there we go, we have a div tag now, and also this closing div tag. And we also want to delete these two div tags as well. So only keep the h1 tag. So the h1 tag opens here, closes in here, and then the form opens here and closes in here. That's all we need to have here. Then press on Control A or Command A and then press Shift Tab to unindent this here. So press it several times until it matches with the left side border. Right, so what I'm doing here is that I'm keeping only the content of each individual page. So our website will have multiple pages, about, index, and instead of having repetitive code in these files, such as the things I've just deleted, instead of having those lines repeated in every HTML page, index, about, etc., we want to keep those lines only in base.html, right? So we deleted the body tag up to here. So I'm in base.html, right? So here is where we want to keep these lines. And then, so remember that this was a duplicate of index.html. So then we want to delete everything starting from h1 here, job application form, which belongs to index.html. So just go to the number area here and drag your cursor. You want to delete everything up to this div. No, sorry, this one here. So up to the form, right? So again, h1, don't include the div class container. So from h1 to the closing form tag and press the delete button. Then in between these two div tags, you want to write some Jinja 2 code, such as curly brackets, percentage, percentage, and inside you do block content, and then again the same symbols and block. Make sure to have some space in between the words and the percentage symbols. So end block is without spaces, block content is with a space here. And then you want to connect the index.html page with the base.html page. And then we'll do the same with about. So how do you connect index.html with base.html? In index.html, at the very top here, you want to use again Jinja2 curly brackets, percentage symbols, and in between you say extends single quotes base.html. So which means index extends base.html. You also need to add some other Jinja2 code. So that would be block content in here, and then you want to close that block at the very end here. And block. Let's do the same with about.html. So go here and enter those lines. And here we say end block. Let's see what we have on the website. So make sure that the app is running here. It's running. The about URL is not found at the moment. We will fix that later. But let's see what we've got so far. So that's our home page. As you can see, the page still looks good, right? So we were able to inherit from base.html. So basically now what's happening is that when the user visits this URL, again, the view function is called. So in here, the index function is called. Index renders index.html, so this file. And this file, when it's being called, it also calls the base.html file. So it gets the content of base.html. And so now we want to do the same with about, right? So just before we create the navigation bar, let's connect the about page with its URL. So first of all, though, you need to go to views and you need to create a new function for the about page. Request as input, return render, request as the first argument, and followed by about.html. Good. And then you need to go to URLs here, make a comma in this list, and we want to add another item to the URL patterns list. So we're working on the urls.py inside job application, right? Don't confuse that with the other URLs inside my site. We don't want to change anything in URLs in the my site directory. And this time this will be about slash, right? That's the URL of the about page. And views.about, so about is the name of the function in views.py. And let's give this a name, about, a string. So now if we go to the page and we add slash about, then we'll see the content of the about page, right? That's it. And yeah, that's about this video. So in this video we implemented a base template, so which contains code that is distributed across all other pages of the website. And so now we have multiple pages, and all these pages share the same style, correct? let's have the same class as in index.html. So in index.html, the h1 tag job application form has this class, right? So we can get that class and we can apply it in here and then refresh the page, and About Us will get that margin here, so it will apply that bootstrap style. So that is possible because About inherits from base.html, meaning that in base.html we have the bootstrap link, right? So now we can apply those classes to the elements of the About. So basically we can share the style across all the pages of our website by using a base.html template. Plus, also the other benefits, which we'll do in the next video, is that all these pages will be able to share the same navigation bar. So if you don't understand the benefit of base.html yet, you'll understand it in the next video. So I'll see you there. Hey, welcome back. Our website has two pages currently, the home page and also the About page. However, it's not easy to access those pages because you should know the exact URLs in order to visit those pages as a user, as a visitor. That's not user-friendly, of course, so we need to have a navigation bar here on top where we show the links to all the important pages on our website. Let's do that. So in the previous video we set up a base.html file and also an about.html file, and we modified the index.html file. So now to add a navigation bar, can you guess where we should work? So should we add it to about, to base, or index? Of course we should add it to base.html so that we can write it once and all the other pages will inherit that navigation bar. So the code for the navigation bar goes above the content of the web page, right? So the content of the web page is this, correct? So the navigation bar goes above this, right? Which is in here. So between the body tag and the first div tag. So in here we have to type in all that code, but I'll not type it in because there's so many Bootstrap classes and it will be a bit too boring perhaps to type those in. So I'm just copying them and pasting it here, and you can also find the code I'll copy here attached in the lecture resources, so please copy that in your clipboard, place the cursor somewhere in here, so indent under body and paste. So this is what I pasted. Let me select everything that I pasted. So it starts with an opening nav tag and it ends with a closing nav tag, right? Let me unindent this here, and I'll select it again and press tab to indent it under the body tag. So that's the code. Let me explain what this code is now. But before we do that, I want to go to the page and reload. And there's the site. So it's working. That's the About page. We can go to About, we can go to Python How. This contact page has not been implemented, but you can add contact.html file in your templates directory and connect it to this if you like. So it's up to you. And now let me explain the code. So we start with nav tags here and here. Those nav tags are specialized to create this bar. Then we continue with a div tag. It opens here and it closes here. So that div tag contains all the content of the nav bar. So it's like a wrapper. And that's a Bootstrap class. Then we have A elements. So with an opening A tag and a closing A tag. And an A element creates a link. So Python How is the first A element, right? You see the content of the link is Python how, and then we have this class navbar brand, how you want to stylize the link based on Bootstrap. Then we have href. This defines the link where Python how should bring the user when Python how is clicked. So the link here is a dynamic link, so meaning that we are using Jinja. So you have these quotes, and inside quotes you have the Jinja code. So we use the URL keyword followed by the name of the URL. What is the name of the URL? Well, if you go to job applications and URLs, so the URLs of your app, you'll see that we have two URLs and each of them have a name. So a name is equal to index and name is equal to about. So this string index is what we're using in here. So URL for index. So when this is clicked, take me to the URL of the index path. Right, so then we have this button. The button is this thing here, which shows up when we make the window smaller. So we can click that to show up the menu items. So we have some classes there that define how that button should look like. And then we have the other elements, right? So it starts with this div, which closes in here. So this div has a UL element, which defines a list. So that UL contains several LI elements. One LI element here, one LI element in here, and each LI element contains an A element. So there we go, we have the about page. The URL points to the about name, which I showed you in urls.py. And then we have the other list elements, and so we have the contact item, which is this one here, contact, and the link for href has not been implemented, so in that case we simply pass quotes and a hashtag. You can implement this later if you like, as I mentioned. So then we have the closing text, and that makes a navigation bar. So that's our final version of the website. I hope you like it, and I really hope you learned a lot from this so that you have a good start in web development. You need more practice, but with practice you'd get better and better. So thanks a lot for following. See you later.